Did you know that most of us are only tapping into a fraction of our true nature? That's right. Beneath the distractions of daily life, the attachments we cling to, and the endless cycle of desires and aversions lies something profound, our awakened mind, free from suffering, limitless in wisdom and compassion. Imagine walking through life carrying a heavy backpack filled with burdens, only to realize that you were never meant to carry them in the first place. This is the illusion that traps us all, the belief that we are small, that we are powerless, and that we must cling to comfort and routine to feel safe. But the Buddha taught us something different. We are not passive observers of our lives. We are the architects. Buddhism teaches us that our potential is not something to be found in the future. It is already here, at this very moment. Every thought, every action, every breath shapes the path we walk. Awakening is not about striving for something outside ourselves, but about realizing the truth that has always been within us. So why do we feel stuck? Because we resist change. We cling to what is familiar, even when it causes suffering. The mind tells us, I will begin tomorrow. I am not ready. This is just who I am. But these are just thoughts, impermanent, fleeting. Like clouds drifting across the sky, they have no true substance. If we want to break free from the cycle of suffering, we must recognize these illusions for what they are. The Buddha called this ignorance, the mistaken belief that we are separate, that we are bound by our past, and that we are incapable of change. But the truth is, we can step out of the shadow at any moment. All it takes is one breath, one conscious choice. This is not just about surviving, it is about thriving. Every day, you have a choice. You can continue as you are, or you can take a single step toward awakening. It does not require a grand transformation overnight. Enlightenment is not a destination but a practice, one that is cultivated moment by moment, breath by breath. And yes, it will be uncomfortable at times. Growth always is. But isn't a little discomfort worth discovering the vast potential within you? Today, we explore how to step beyond mediocrity and into the light of true understanding. Not just to exist, but to live with meaning, purpose, and peace. If this resonates with you, take a moment to pause, breathe deeply, and commit to this path. This is your journey toward awakening. The traps that keep us stagnant. One of the greatest obstacles on the spiritual path is complacency. It creeps in slowly, unnoticed, like a thick fog. One day, you wake up and realize you have been moving through life on autopilot, settling for good enough instead of striving for true wisdom and liberation. But Buddhism does not ask us to shame ourselves for where we are. It invites us to wake up. Mediocrity is not about failure. It is about forgetting our true nature. It manifests in the excuses we make, the distractions we chase, and the way we delay our own growth for another day, another life, another time. But the present moment is the only moment we truly have. The Buddha taught that we are constantly shaped by our thoughts, our words, and our actions. If we do not cultivate mindfulness, we drift further from our highest potential. But when we awaken, even a single moment of awareness can change the course of our path entirely. Breaking free from illusions. The first step toward awakening is recognition. Where in your life are you accepting less than you are capable of? Where have you chosen comfort over growth, distraction over truth, avoidance over awareness? Maybe it's in your relationships, where you withhold love out of fear. Maybe it's in your work, that you resist stepping into your full potential. Or maybe it's in your own mind, where doubt and insecurity hold you back. The path of the Buddha is not about grand gestures. It is about small, deliberate steps toward wisdom and compassion. Start by setting an intention. Choose something that challenges you, something that requires mindfulness and effort. Perhaps it's deepening your meditation practice, speaking with honesty and kindness, or facing a fear you have long avoided. Each step forward is a victory, no matter how small. And yes, you will stumble. But as the Buddha taught, suffering is not caused by the event itself, but by our resistance to it. Every setback is a lesson. Every difficulty is an opportunity to cultivate patience, courage, and wisdom. The power of community. Just as suffering can be contagious, so too can growth and wisdom. Surround yourself with those who uplift you, who remind you of your path when you forget, who inspire you to reach deeper, and who encourage you to keep moving forward. In Buddhism, the Sangha, the spiritual community, is essential to awakening. A single candle may flicker in the wind, but 1,000 flames burn brightly together. Find your community. Seek teachers who inspire you, friends who challenge you, and teachings that resonate with your heart. In doing so, you will create an environment where growth is not only possible but inevitable. Keep challenging those negative thoughts and aligning your actions with your true nature. Stepping beyond the limits of comfort might seem like an overused idea, plastered across self-help books and motivational posters. But within these words lies an undeniable truth that becomes even more profound when seen through the wisdom of the Buddha. True growth is not found in the ease of routine, but in the deliberate choice to awaken again and again in each moment. The Buddha did not simply speak of the path, he walked it. He understood that wisdom arises through direct experience, through meeting discomfort with presence and resilience. It is in the struggle, not the avoidance of it, that we reveal our true strength. Embracing discomfort as a path to liberation. Discomfort is not just about physical strain or emotional stress. It is about facing the parts of life we instinctively avoid. Perhaps it is waking up an hour earlier to sit in meditation, even when the mind protests. Perhaps it is speaking truthfully when it would be easier to stay silent. Or perhaps it is letting go of the need for validation and embracing the stillness within. Each of these moments presents an opportunity, an invitation to step beyond fear and into the vastness of the present moment. In Buddhism, this is not an act of self-punishment, but an act of freedom. When we meet discomfort with mindfulness, we loosen the grip of attachment. We realize that we can exist with less and still be whole. This practice is not about suffering, it is about liberation. The Buddha taught the middle path, a way of balance between indulgence and deprivation. By mindfully embracing the small discomforts of daily life, we prepare ourselves for the greater challenges that may arise. If you train yourself to find peace amid minor difficulties, you build the strength to remain steady when true adversity comes. The power of repeated action. In Buddhism, we understand that our character is not formed by thoughts alone, but by the repeated patterns of our actions. Every time you choose to face discomfort with mindfulness, you are shaping yourself into a person of greater wisdom and resilience. Over time, these choices accumulate, sculpting a being that does not just survive difficulty, but thrives within it. So, how do we begin? Start small. Identify one thing that brings resistance within you. Perhaps it is a conversation you have been avoiding. Perhaps it is a practice you know will bring growth, but you have put off. Set an intention to face it, not with force, but with awareness. Observe your mind. See the excuses, the justifications. Then, gently remind yourself of your ability to meet and move through discomfort with grace. With curiosity rather than judgment, ask, what am I learning? How does this challenge shift my perception of myself? The true purpose of discomfort. To embrace discomfort is not to seek suffering for suffering's sake. It is to recognize that the boundaries of self are illusions, and that growth happens just beyond the edges of familiarity. It is a gradual process, one step, one breath, one mindful moment at a time. This is the Buddhist way, to live not in avoidance but in presence, to meet challenges with equanimity, and to transform discomfort into a gateway for awakening. The strength found in accountability. One of the most powerful tools in personal growth is accountability. In Buddhism, the Sangha, the spiritual community, plays a vital role. When we are surrounded by those who walk the path with us, our commitment is strengthened. But ultimately, we are accountable to ourselves. True growth happens not when someone is watching, but when we choose integrity even in solitude. Are we walking the path or only speaking of it? Bringing intention into everyday life. Begin by making your aspirations visible. Write down your commitments, not to external success, but to inner transformation. Let them be reminders on your wall, in your journal, on your phone. Let them guide you, day by day. Engage in self-reflection. What did I cultivate today? Where did I step forward? And where did I resist? How can I realign with my highest intention tomorrow? And remember, growth is not about perfection. It is about presence. The path is not walked in a single leap, but in countless mindful steps. The role of community. Just as suffering can be contagious, so too can wisdom. Surround yourself with those who uplift you, who challenge you to grow, who remind you of the truth when you forget. Seek those who walk the path with sincerity, and let their presence be both a mirror and a guide. Buddhism teaches that our environment deeply influences our minds. Choose relationships that nurture clarity and compassion. Engage in conversations that inspire. And most importantly, contribute. Offer kindness, share wisdom, and be a source of light for others. For in lifting others, we lift ourselves. Overcoming the inner critic, the voice of doubt arises in all of us. It whispers, I am not ready. I am not enough. But the Buddha taught that these thoughts are just passing phenomena. They are not the truth. Like waves in the ocean, they come and go, but they do not define the depth of the sea. With mindfulness, we can meet these doubts without attachment. The next time fear arises, pause. Observe it, then ask, is this thought useful? Does it serve my path? If not, let it go, like a leaf carried downstream. The journey begins here. The path to awakening does not exist in the distant future. It exists here, now, in this moment. No more waiting for the perfect conditions. No more postponing your own growth. The time to awaken is now. One breath, one choice, one step forward. If this resonates with you, take a moment to reflect. Sit in stillness. Align your heart with your highest intention. Step forward, not with fear, but with trust in the unfolding of your path. Every step is a step toward awakening. Let us walk this path together with wisdom, compassion, and with the courage to embrace all that arises.